Welcome back from the rest hold, everybody. Originally, we were going to break this up into a whole bunch of different segments, but we kind of talked about this a little bit ahead of time. We're not really too into this NXT card all that much. So when we realized that it was going to be a little hard to stretch out the thing to like 3 to 5 to 10 minutes a piece or whatever, it's going to be much better for you guys to listen to this in one shot. So that's why we're going to stray from the norm here and just take care of everything in this one video for NXT TakeOver the end predictions. And the first thing I want to address, just to get this out of the way, because we talked about it a little bit before, but now we've had a little bit more information. It's, something to revisit. Do you guys think that this is going to be the last NXT TakeOver event, since it is called the end?
Nope. I think they're doing a reset, and we're going to see a whole new bunch of talent highlighted in NXT. Expect a lot of these guys to get called up.
Well, what's weird about this is they're not really advertising it. So it's like, if this was the last one, that's kind of just like going out with a whimper. If it's not, then they're being really vague about it.
Maybe they want to be vague about it. Maybe they're not too certain on certain things too. Because I guarantee they pulled this fucking brand. I guarantee this brand split hasn't been in the works for like 6 months or something. I imagine it's something that's come very recently.
No, I'm getting the feeling with this brand extension, this is all USA. Because if they're moving this, moving SmackDown, that is, to Tuesday nights, they probably were like, hey, you don't really get that great views. If we move it to Tuesday, you got to do something different. How about we have, separate people? And then they're like, well, if we do that, then we can do the Stephanie and Shane thing, and then we do that. The more time that's going by, the more things that are happening with this, the less that I think that this is going to work out. And I'm really getting worried about NXT in this thing, because if they force a bunch of NXT people up to the main roster, and then they decide to can this brand extension, those guys are going to get lost in the shuffle, and NXT's going to suck. I don't want No Way Jose to be the fucking champion.
Well, I'm fine with NXT getting plucked of talent. At the end of the day, it's become a third brand, and was it really meant to be a third brand?
I think that you can argue that a little bit, but at the same time, you also kind of go, is it better to have a third brand that's really good to watch and for SmackDown to suck? Or is it better for them to move up to SmackDown and those writers not know what to do with them? And then all those good guys suck.
I'd rather them be called up and just give an opportunity to find their place than a lot of guys in NXT not get a chance to learn. Because that's what I think's happening. A lot of these guys, if you look what some of the NXT house shows are, you'll see quite a few guys that you don't really see on NXT television. And I think that's because they're not getting the exposure that I think they wanted them to get. So, with the amount of guys they've got signed to NXT, I think it's a necessity.
What about you, Drew? Do you think this the end thing is actually going to spell the end, or is this just like, that would be a better title than Revenge?
Maybe. I understand why they would go with the end from the standpoint of this should be the end to the Samoa Joe and Finn Balor feud. However, I wouldn't be surprised if they both get called up and a couple of months from now they do this again for some reason. So I know Wega's a little bit more pessimistic about them possibly ending NXT to an extent, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did something where it might end to some level. And I say this because if they're calling people up to do this brand split, I really think that Triple H is just going to take over SmackDown, and that will be his child. That's like his baby, in a way. I think the NXT just becomes one with the Performance Center, where they have this weekly show, and they'll do these special events every now and then. But I think the NXT thing will just become the Performance Center. If they did something along those lines, I would not be surprised. If they don't, I understand why. But I am a little bit more optimistic in a way that this could be the end of what we see as NXT now. It might be a lot different here in a couple months.
Well, Drew's optimistic, but when it comes to this card, none of us are really feeling it all that much.
Tony, this is the greatest card in the history of NXT, just like every other card before it and every other card after it is. By God, it is perfect. And all the matches will be perfect.
To be fair, the card doesn't look bad. It's just that it doesn't look great. And there's a lot of rematches and stuff, and it feels like they need another match too, maybe.
See,
This card feels like it's just fitting the purpose of we have an NXT event here, and this is what we're going to put on.
Mm-hmm. It
Which
does
is
not feel like
fine.
it's got the build like the other ones do.
Which is fine. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but I'm like, I don't think it's going to be a bad event. I just don't think it's got any hype going into it.
well, here's the issue with it. If you look at the card before it, we have 2 rematches. We got rid of Baron Corbin. He's now on the main roster. Sami Zayn is now on the main roster. Does Bayley have a match here, or is it just Asuka and Nia Jax?
No, she doesn't, which that's weird to not see Bayley wrestle.
And I think that's one of the things where we have a few guys who have been and women as well, who have been staples for this NXT brand. And a lot of them are either called up or they're just not wrestling on this card, which is weird. And one of the big reasons is Enzo and Cass, they were huge staples for these NXT tag team division and them being on these cards. And to be fair, they weren't on Dallas, but just them not being on NXT is such a weird thing now because we've been used to it for so long.
Actually, that's a really good point, because you take a look at someone like Bayley missing from this card. Yes, she's not a main eventer in the typical sense that the women division doesn't really have main eventers, mid-cards, and lower mid-cards, but in terms of, like, star power on that show, girl's a main eventer.
Mm-hmm. She's a hell of a lot bigger than a lot of the names that we're seeing here. Like, I mean, I like them, but Ty Dillinger's not a big star.
Well, Tony, you gotta realize she's not bigger than the person that replaced her in that main event feud with.
Well, no, I mean, it depends on how many Snickers she's going to eat. But, like, I look at this card, and just going by the list of what we were going to talk about if we were going to separate this or whatever, you got American Alpha versus the Revival for the Tag Team Championship. I'm a big fan of American Alpha, and I don't like the Revival all that much, but more so than anything of just not really being that interested in a Revival match, this is a repeat. Like,
Isn't it a three-peat?
It might have been. I think it might have been. This might be the second one. I don't know if they wrestled on, like, a normal NXT episode, but they might have. But either way, it's like they could have just done that on NXT, and this could have been a different tag team. And now I don't know what tag team they could have done, because they split up Blake and Murphy, Vaudevillains are gone, Enzo and Cass is gone. So American Alpha really doesn't have anybody else left, but maybe make up a new tag team. Maybe do something interesting like that. Or, shit, maybe bring the Shining Stars down there. I would have been more interested in that, which is weird to say that I'd be more interested in a Shining Stars match, but American Alpha versus Revival, either you have the Revival win, which I don't like, American Alpha wins, which is like, everybody saw that coming, or it's a draw, which is like, well, what was the point?
I mean, I understand the logistics of it. Title rematches are a big thing in the WWE. They make that clear every time a guy loses a belt.
Too big of a thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm definitely agree with you. I'm not going to argue on that. So for the reasoning for the match, makes perfect sense. The Revival need to get their title shots back and they want their title. So I'm not going to argue about it from a storyline standpoint. I just don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. And it's like they could have done that rematch the next week on NXT. Like, that's not like, well, we got to save that for the big event because it's so big and important and everybody really loves it. It's like, nah, you could have just pushed that aside.
I'm not going to tell you going into this match that it's going to be a bad match, because it's not. It's going to be a good match. It'll probably be one of the highlights of the night. And I'll probably be a lot less sour on it post the match. However, leading into it, there's nothing I really want to see. The Revival aren't a team, like, I think the Revival keeping the belts for a little bit longer and American Alpha maybe chasing it and winning it here might have drawn more interest into it, but I'm really not digging this, and I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's just a lack of build, or if it's just that I wanted to see American Alpha capture the gold and now it's happened.
Mm-hmm. Or that it's just the same old. Like, maybe if there would have been a different tag team, that could have been a different story. Are you actually interested in this, Drew? Or are you in the same boat that we are?
American Apples? Those guys?
Did you just call them American Apple?
Maybe. Yes.
American Apples?
Sure. Well, I am actually really looking forward to this. I thought their match at TakeOver was my second favorite match of the night. I mean, TakeOver Dallas, only behind Shinsuke and Sami Zayn's. So, I'm really, really excited for this match just because I know it's going to be a great wrestling match. I don't watch NXT every week. Sometimes I binge watch it before and I just catch up then. So if when you don't watch it for long periods of times and you see the match, you usually forget about the previous match. So I'm not really following in the same symptoms of I just don't care because of what they've been doing on NXT. I'm just looking forward to what they're doing because I don't watch it every week. And then when they go out there and do a great job, it's like, yeah, great wrestling. Go me.
So I think I have an idea here with your American apples. That's how they can feud with the Shining Stars, and that's how you bring Carlito back.
Oh, dude. Well,
He wants to chew up the American apples.
You know what?
like
If Carlito comes back or even makes a cameo in WWE at some point, we're gonna mark so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Oh, even better. All right, you got Carlito coming back with the Shining Stars to go take on the American Apples, and they need a third man, so they get Jack Swagger, and you do the world's greatest tag team again.
Oh, God. I don't know. I will say one thing. I'm still pissed off that Jason Jordan wasn't in this tournament that we did to crown the best looking male. Because come on.
He should have been.
He should have been. All those people didn't vote for him or voted for him to not be in it.
Glad Chad Gable didn't get too far. That guy's an ugly fuck.
Yeah, he got knocked out in the first round. Seth Rollins is beating Roman Reigns right now, last time I checked, by the way.
Yeah, people just don't see the super rat in him.
Nah, and I think Paige is probably still winning, which, nah, come on.
Fuck. It'll make, geez, is the
Flat
internet...
ass, no tits, butt chin.
Why is it that the internet fucking community ruins everything? Like, seriously, I know we could just say that they're gonna be like, oh no, man, Paige is beautiful and all this stuff. Roman Reigns is overrated. Fuck you. Roman Reigns is beautiful, and fuck me. Paige is so goddamn overrated. If you're voting for Paige, please remember, Alberto Del Rio is getting that ass. You really want that second? Do you really want it?
Just thinking, just in your head, I want you to have these three words. Alberto penetrates Paige. Every time that you want to think about Paige in any manner, that's what I want you to think about. And you'll soon find her very unattractive.
So how about this NXT TakeOver, huh?
Well, maybe replace Alberto Del Rio with Poppy.
That makes it so much dirtier.
Well, now we're talking about the women with this. Let's talk about the women's championship. We have Asuka versus Nia Jax. And we mentioned before, it's weird to see Bayley not wrestle. And it's also, I kind of don't want to see Nia Jax wrestle. Like, she hasn't improved enough.
Now, we talk about not wanting to see a rematch. Now, talking about rematches I would like to see Asuka versus Bayley.
Right, that would be good.
Two women that we've not really seen go at it too much, very talented in the ring. Both of them are over with the crowd, and instead we get a sack of pudding. Like,
I was thinking of so many different things there. I'm thinking of, like, you know, in the one corner is Asuka, and the other corner is just this big bag of pudding.
You just, like, tease off on and does karate moves and shit.
Or, like, I'm thinking of how Howard Finkel would have announced that.
So, like, I don't know, that sounds so horrible and disrespectful to Nia Jax, but if you're gonna look like that, at least back it up in the ring.
I've been addicted to pudding.
There's nothing redeeming about Nia Jax. I don't see it, and people are saying give her a chance to get better, and that's fine. That's fine and all, but she shouldn't be in there with Asuka.
And it's different. You can give her a chance, but not to put her in one of the only matches on a card where she's fighting for a championship.
The match that she had with Bayley for the title wasn't bad because Bayley carried the living hell out of her.
Mm-hmm.
I actually gained so much more respect for Bayley after that match just because of the story she was able to tell with her. And had you had taken that British crowd out of it, that match would have fucking sunk.
Yeah, I did not really like that match all that much. And I can't imagine Asuka doing a better job, or even as good of a job.
So, like,
no, I don't dislike Asuka, but that's, you know, she's not somebody who carries somebody. She's, like, real forceful, and she's apparently dangerous. She keeps injuring people and stuff. Nia Jax could just be standing there and getting a couple kicks, and it's like, snooze.
I don't know what you do with Nia Jax, because I guess you can do the monster gimmick with her, but she needs a new wardrobe change, because she looks ridiculous.
Yeah. That blue suit in particular? You can't look like Grimace.
Look, and do you know what? She isn't ridiculously obese. She's just very round in certain
she's
areas.
not like, that's a good way to put it. She's not like obese and fat and rolls all over the place. She's big.
She's just very curvy and awkwardly shaped. So I don't even think if she lost weight, it would make too much of a difference. Not without making herself sick. So I don't expect that from her. But something's got to change, both appearance and in ring, or if not appearance, dramatically in ring, where I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because you can have like a guy like an Umaga, who's clearly not, this muscular type of guy, but he could go in the ring.
Yeah, if Umaga couldn't go in the ring, and to be fair, there was a period of time where he was having some shit matches, but he improved too, because he was working with higher level talent.
Right.
And he won a lot of people over. You've got to be, like, if you're going to fail in certain areas, you've got to be able to pick it up in others.
Yeah, Nia Jax just hasn't gotten to that yet. And
you know what? Partially that's probably because she's very green, but that still doesn't excuse it. You're in a title match, so either you need to be wrestling lower people on the card, or stop being pudding.
Yeah, like, keep her with the Tino Sabatellis on the live events until she learns how to wrestle better. Now, she might end up doing a great job here. We don't know yet, but...
Yeah, by all means, Nia, if you, go out there and fucking win us over tonight, I'd be glad to see that. You're not going to hear me complain.
Exactly. If it ends up being a good match, it's a good match, I'll be happy. If it's a bad match, I'll just say I told you so. And I'm just not really looking forward to that one. Then we have this new guy, which I hope I'm pronouncing
Did you comment on that match?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say, Drew?
I like chocolate pudding.
I kind of go a little bit more for vanilla.
Oh, I like
my
favorite butterscotch.
Hang on, I'm just going to text John to pick up pudding.
So, yeah, you guys kind of covered everything, but I just want to let everyone know chocolate pudding, butterscotch. Actually, have you ever had like those like dirt cakes where people make it with like Oreos?
Ooh, yeah, I want some of that now.
Yeah, those are really good.
Be right back, everybody. We're going to get some.
Let's take a 15-minute break to go get our pudding and then eat it, and we'll just play some music in the background for you guys.
You can listen to the sounds of me eating pudding.
It's just like...
Doesn't that sound awesome now?
Not really. I hate listening to people eat food, and especially pudding. I bet that's all fucking... You know what? This is a stupid conversation. I'm just had to stop myself, and I'm realizing that I'm talking about the logistics of listening to somebody eat pudding.
On a video that's going to be labeled WWE NXT TakeOver the End Predictions. Well, if I have to predict anything, it's that I would not really like listening to somebody eat pudding. Although, how weird would it be for the people listening right now if I just changed this up and you just saw, like, the screen changed and it was just you eating pudding or something?
So, yeah, tell us what you think about eating pudding. Do you think you'd like to hear it?
Drop them in the comments below. But this new guy here, Andrade Cien Almas, or Almas, or whatever, or Andrade, I don't know. That dude is going to be beating Ty Dillinger, because Ty Dillinger is the guy that you throw out there for everybody to beat in their first match. Ty Dillinger is somebody that I like, but he ain't got no shot. And I don't know anything about this Almas dude. Never seen a single match. I don't even know what he used to be referred to as. So I can't even comment on like whether or not he'll be cool, but I do like the idea of a new guy coming out there, because there's, maybe he'll do something different. Maybe he'll be really awesome. Maybe he'll be like, oh man, this guy's so great. He's my new favorite fucking prospect. Or he could be garbage. I don't know. I would assume he's not garbage, but who is this dude?
So he wrestled in CMLL. He actually has a match you can check out on YouTube against Nakamura, which is by no means amazeballs, but it's fine. Definitely can go. Needs to learn to cater towards a WWE style and not that lucha libre, let's pretend to be wrestler style. And yeah, because fuck you, Ricochet. Wrestling can be done right or wrong.
Just all flips and ballet shit.
I'm not getting into that shit again.
It's time to get into that shit again.
But yeah, so the dude's like not bad in the ring. I don't know enough about him to give you this huge background on him, but could potentially be a big deal in NXT.
What was his old name?
I think it was La Sombra.
La Sombra was so much better.
La Sombra was so much better. when he wrestled in CMLL against Ty Dillinger, who you probably know as Gavin Spears.
Or maybe even Sean Spears. Always like the CMLL. I always just refer to it as Camel. it's just
Camel. Actually, that's just such an easier way of doing it. I'm going to call it Camel.
And then AAA. Ah! You wrestle for Camel or ah!
Back when I was in high school, we had our whole little fucking backyard fed like most retarded kids do.
You mean Hardys?
You mean what?
The Hardys?
Oh. And we used to, it was EWW, it was something like Extreme Wrestling Warfare or some bullshit like that. And I just realised, oh shit, it's the acronym for EW. Oh,
it'd be great if Roman Reigns used to have one and it was all O's. And it was just ooh. Drew, are you any interested in this Alexander versus Sean Spears match?
I'm so interested in this match.
You're adding new level to this.
I like the snot level.
Actually, it was Shambrick.
I mean, yes, I'm interested. It'll be interesting when it happens, but yeah, I'm going to check it out. I like Ty Dillinger, so we shall see what happens in the future.
If this ends up being a situation where they are getting rid of a lot of these current top guys to the main roster, then this could be like the debut of a brand new guy that might be your next NXT champion for all you know.
Yeah, he might be. I still think that's going to be Nakamura, but
I don't know. I think they're going to bring him up a lot sooner, but it's all speculation.
Yeah, I don't think that they even know what they're doing. But we do have another Nakamura match. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to face Austin Aries. That one I'm actually interested in.
Oh, fucking hell yes.
I do like Austin Aries. I'm not as high on Nakamura as everybody else is. I still have only seen a couple matches, so I'm not going to be like, oh my god, best person ever. He better be fighting for the championship at WrestleMania. None of that stuff. But he has done good stuff from what I've seen. And you put him against a guy that I like Austin Aries. Cool. Never seen the match before. Could be really good. I'm assuming it's going to be the match of the night for sure. Might even end up being one of these match of the year things. Total thumbs up from me. Nakamura is totally winning it too. Unless Aries is cheats his way. But I'm cool with that happening too. I like both the guys. This is the main reason to watch this card.
Oh yeah, this is I don't care about Joe and Balor being the main event. This is the main event of NXT TakeOver. It's going to be the match that the crowd's the loudest for. And Nakamura has had 2 Match of the Year candidates already. One against AJ Styles at the January 4th show in New Japan, and one against Sami Zayn in the last NXT event. He's about to have another Match of the Year contender, I guarantee you. It's unless something horribly goes wrong, like someone bleeds and they stop the match, Aries and Nakamura is going to be sweet.
Drew, what do you think? You on the same kind of wavelength that we are?
Tony, I'm going to give it a 5 for the greatest match of all time.
RVD versus...
Amazing.
Oh, by the way, we didn't put this in the hot tags, but that kind of sucks that he's getting divorced.
Oh, yeah. RVD's getting divorced. I think they've been together for 14 years, too.
Wasn't that kind of one of those main things? She had cancer or something like
that? Yeah, he was a big supporter of marijuana because that's how she actually provided for herself. She couldn't eat if she didn't smoke.
Well, that sucks for them.
Sucks. Yeah.
Shrug. At least a shrug when it comes to our main event, because man, kind of interested that they're doing a steel cage match, but we've seen it before. It's just that it's NXT, so that's no big deal. And Joe versus Balor, this is what? Joe versus Balor 7?
I don't know if it's that much, but there's a lot less intrigue going into it. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I was very happy when Samoa Joe got the NXT contract, so they looked like they were doing things with him. And Finn I've actually fallen out of favor with more recently, and that's just because I'm bored of his current shtick on NXT. I want to see him do something different now. It's kind of that deal where when somebody's that talented and you see him in an environment they're better than, you just kind of want to see change. As far as this whole feud goes, the big thing was I wanted to see Samoa Joe win the NXT Championship. He did. I didn't see it, though. I mean, yeah. I kind of saw it. It was just but it wasn't you didn't get the surprise and the drama of a match. And I'm not going to fault WWE for changing a title on a house show. I think they need to do it more often. With that said, for this storyline and this match, which you've got to believe is the final if it's in a steel cage, especially the first cage match on NXT.
Or is it the end?
You've got to believe that this is going to be the final chapter in their feud. If Samoa Joe ends up winning and Balor goes to the main roster, then it's just more proof that Joe should have won it here. If Balor wins the title, then great, more chance that Balor's going to stay on NXT. Unless they just vacate the titles and start fresh. If that even happens with NXT moving up. There's so many variables here that it kind of throws me for a loop, and I'm probably going to enjoy this less because I'm overthinking about it. But still, I've seen it before, and after their last match with the bleeding and the constantly stopping it killed it for me.
And it's like, he beat him a couple times, and now it's like, well, was Joe's just going to retain here? Like, this isn't going to take it anywhere. This is more so we couldn't think of anything else to do. Let's just do another one. Like, I kind of wish that Samoa Joe would have just won that second match that they had, and that this could have been the third that ends the whole thing.
It would have been ideal. I think more is less with this feud, especially with how long it's going. You don't want to oversaturate it because this feud's been going ever since the tag team tournament.
And that was the one after Brooklyn, right?
Believe so.
So that was like September, October maybe?
So yeah, a long damn time.
Ugh. So that's disappointing. And I'm just like, I want Samoa Joe to win. And if he does, then yay. Like, I really don't care. It's not good enough. And when the rest of the matches are like the American Alpha one, where we kind of just don't care, is in the same kind of capacity.
Thing is, like, the Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, right now, I'm, like, done with seeing them. I just want to see them get brought up to the main roster and do something. Same with Nakamura and Aries. While I'm going to enjoy that match, it's just like, there's so many guys where, they're just better than NXT at this point.
Yeah. Like, Joe would be so much better on, like, SmackDown. Actually, I don't know. Finn Balor might be better on SmackDown. Joe might be better on Raw.
I just want to see Joe choke Zack Ryder out.
Just that?
Yeah, like every week.
Well, he can still do that on NXT. He still pops up every once in a while, right?
Like, seriously, even if they don't have him wrestle, he can just be hiding behind those, like, big fucking moving storage boxes on wheels and just jump out and choke the fucker.
Sure, you got a favorite in this match? You think Finn's going to win it or Joe's going to retain?
I think Joe's going to retain. I think it's about time we get that Finn Balor on the main roster, so...
The end Balor?
Ooh, I don't know. He's a lot better than Dark Balor, that's for damn sure. But
yeah, well, everything's better than Dark Balor.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a great match. It's gonna be interesting to see the steel cage. It's probably the exact same one as they use at the main roster, but you never know. So, it's about time.
Well, everybody, if you were more excited about this than we are, then sure. Oh, you didn't give your prediction on this, did you, Wago?
I realized we've been talking about a lot of matches in the few that I haven't given a prediction about. I don't know if you just want to go around and just like get a quick yes and no.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's recap these a little bit. American Alpha versus Revival. I'm going American Alpha. Wago.
American Alpha.
Drew.
American Alpha and Jason Jordan secretly won this Sexiest Divas tournament.
Yeah, he won. He was the best looking woman on the roster for sure. Almas versus Dillinger. We're all going Almas, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Are we all going Asuka retaining?
That one's actually a closer one. I think Asuka's winning, but I would not be surprised to see Nia Jax take it here.
Drew?
I'm going to go with Asuka.
Nakamura, Aries. I'm going Nakamura. Wago?
Nakamura.
Drew?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Also known as Shinsuke Nakamura. Doesn't apply on this case, does it? Samoa Joe versus Balor. I'm going Samoa Joe. Drew?
Samoa Joe.
Wago?
Samoa Joe.
All right, guys, those are our predictions. Leave those comments below, as I was saying before. Tell us what you're most excited about, what you're least excited about, and anything else that you wanted to mention. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button, as always. And tell us again, I kind of like to get your opinions here and there about stuff, but if you like us doing this in the one video versus the different videos, there's positives and negatives to it, but I like to get your opinions too. So if you like it better this way, then, let me know. If you don't, let me know that as well. And we're going to continue on with the last part here, the Fantasy League in part 5. Stay tuned, everybody.